Hey, welcome to the Business Network Podcast. My name is Dean Renfro. I'm host of the podcast. We are so glad to have you with us. Business Network Podcast is all about helping local businesses, whether it's a brick and mortar store, an online store, a franchise, any kind of business owner that's trying to put the message out there about their business, their product, or their service. We want to interview them and give them a chance to tell their story about their service, their product, what their business is about to the world. And this gives them a platform to do that. And we're so glad to have you with us today. So let's get started with today's podcast. But first, a word from our sponsors.
There's a saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Here at Lead Grabber, we agree. You've got one chance to grab the attention of your website visitors and one functional opportunity to lead them to action. With Lead Grabber, you can uniquely greet each visitor, encourage appointments to be set, capture more leads, give more value and access in a compelling way, funnel new customers into your sales process, facilitate new and more sales, save time and more money, build your brand, and so much more with custom integrations. Impress each and every one of your website visitors. Make your site stand out from ordinary websites and your competition. We invite you to get started with Lead Grabber today.
Well, that was a great word from my sponsor today. You know, as we look into kind of the new year getting started, you know, one of the great things I find and so inspiring is being able to talk to people who in life, as we often have, either something happens in our life and it pushes on us, or we have an idea, or somebody shares some kind of concept and idea, and we think, maybe I could do that. Well, today's guest is going to tell us all about one of those moments in life where necessity pushed on them and they had an idea and they took action on that idea. Because oftentimes that's what happens to business, you know, as a business. Either it's birthed out of necessity or somebody has an idea and they act on it. But there's a lot of people that are probably watching this show today that have had an idea, they put it on a shelf, and they never did it. Well, that's not true with today's guest. Lila's going to tell us all about how there was an idea born out of a necessity, and she took action and acted on it and birthed a business. Lila, tell us about yourself and your company, and tell us a little more about what you do.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lila Taylor, and I'm the Laundry Fairy. So initially how we got started is like a two-part answer, because we're a homeschool family, and my husband had a job promotion and we made roots in Conroe, Texas. So after we bought our house, I decided to pick up my old side hustle of cleaning houses, but my children had gotten too old for them to come clean houses with me, and I needed that time to commit to their homeschooling. So I decided to just lean more into the laundry portion of the industry, and I figured that I could go pick up someone's laundry in the morning, bring it home, homeschool the kids, process the laundry, maybe make dinner, and take it back in the afternoon. And it was something that I could really structure a whole life around. And we did.
You know, that is an awesome how an idea can, you know, turns into a startup of a business. You know, but I'm sure as you're going to share with us in just a moment, you know, the idea got off the ground. You got a customer, and just kind of tell us kind of what happened from there, because, you know, one customer doesn't make a business. You know, it takes more than that kind of thing. And it takes something that had to happen for you. Walk us through kind of what's going on, you know, as the Laundry Fairy. It sounds like a cool idea to some people. Other people are like, what? A what? Do what? You know, but kind of walk us through what happened there.
So with my very first customer, this woman wanted me to kind of step out and do something different than what I would do. And my husband warned me not to veer from what we do just because of one customer. And I'm like, well, I've been in business like a month and I haven't had a single customer. I have to do this. So she wanted me to like pick up these crates and organize these crates and do some laundry and fold some laundry. And it's something that we don't do. And then when I returned it all, she was kind of unhappy with the whole thing. And then I ended up giving like a half refund, and the whole thing just ended up being a really bad experience. But I called my friend Sarah Falk, and because she's a woman in business, and she, encouraged me. And she's like, one bad customer doesn't make a whole bad business. And I'm like, but if this is the kind of thing that I have to deal with all the time, then I don't want to do it. And she's like, but this isn't what you're going to have to deal with all the time, because these aren't your customers, because you did something outside of the realm of what you do. For us, we're going to go pick up your laundry, wash, dry, fold, hang, bring it back. It's a basic laundry service. But so she encouraged me, and then I kept going. And then the next month I got this amazing customer, and she loved what we did. And then she gave us this raving review in WGNO. And then from there, I got like 3 clients. And then from there, I got more clients and all these things. And then it just kind of, when we stood in the identity of who we were and we embraced what we do and we didn't veer from that, that's when the customers kind of started rolling in.
And that's so true. It is oftentimes in service industries like yours, it's you get called on to do things, like you said, that were outside of what you do. And it's tempting to go do that. You're thinking, especially when you're like, one customer, I got to do this. That's a great story, because that is what happens so often in business. But yet you quickly, because you had what I call the power of the third voice, somebody outside looking in, speaking to you, saying that this is, no, get back to what you do, and you do well. And you found out, I went and did that. So, for any business owner, especially those that are starting out, it's important to surround yourself with people in business who've been successful, who can look in and say, you might want to think about this. Do what you do. Don't get outside of that. You'll find the people. And again, because you had it crystallized, I think it's so important. You had crystallized, here's what we do, and here's the people we're looking for that want that. And once you're able to line that up, like you said, business took off. And then, of course, they refer business. And which, again, the power of business is often so much caught up in referrals, because people share a service that they know, that they like, and that they trust, and that they want to give recommendations to people. So that was great. But, I'm sure 4 years ago, fast forward to about 2 years ago, when the pandemic hit, kind of walk our viewers through kind of what happened at that, because that was for somebody in the service industry, that was kind of like stop sign kind of a thing. And it could have, as a lot of businesses, it did. They shut down. Some of them never reopened again. So tell us how you got through that.
So COVID was definitely a scary time in the beginning. When the initial shutdown happened, we were not on the
you weren't on the list, the necessary business list, whatever.
Yes, the essential business. So we were not one of the essential businesses, but by day 3 or 4, we were deemed an essential business and we were allowed to reopen. And then what COVID taught me is about pivoting your business. Sometimes it's just a matter of pivoting your marketing, because for us, we always marketed ourselves as like this luxury service, luxury and trustworthy. And that was like the backbone of who we were, because you could just leave your laundry out with ease, and then we would come back and it was all clean and folded and wonderful and just sitting on your doorstep, and it's great. And we had to go from luxury and trustworthy to, we were COVID built, like we were built for this. We really pushed, that we're a contactless service. We didn't even know that's what we were called, but that's apparently what we were. So, and just kind of listening to the community, we listened to the community around us as to what they were looking for, what they wanted, because people were voicing what they want on Facebook and Instagram. And it's a matter of listening to the community, what they want, and then leaning into the wants and needs of the people and bring that into our marketing. What are you looking for? I'm listening. And then I just give the people what they want. They wanted contactless, trustworthy. They wanted sanitation, clean, sterilized, all these things. And we just push that. And then, so that is kind of what got us through COVID. Something initially that happened in the beginning is we had no idea that 2/3 of our clientele were either in the rescue industry or they were in the airline industry. So within a week, 2/3 of our clientele just dropped off. So we went from working every single day to maybe 1 or 2 days a week. And that's okay, because you just pivot that marketing. And I do have to say, my husband had a job and he was an essential worker. And I do bring him into, my story, like, oh, that's your husband's job. Does he have to do the story? Because the thing is, he's my capital backer. And I feel like some business owners feel like if your spouse provides for your company, then your company's not successful. But if you have to get outside capital, if you have to get a job to provide capital for the success of your business, that's a huge thing for an entrepreneur to realize and go gain. And that's what my husband was. He became the capital backer for my company. And then we just grew from there. And then with COVID, we grew a new type of clientele. And then after COVID, all of our old clientele came back. So then after COVID came and you just never gave up, you kind of have, we like doubled in 2021 because we had our COVID clientele and our pre-COVID clientele that came back. And then 2021 was like this explosion.
Yeah, it is so true. The story often that happens in business, because oftentimes, kind of that secret mark in the entrepreneurial world of businesses is if you can make it 5 years. Well, y'all are coming up on that, and you had some setbacks that could have devastated the business, devastated many established businesses because they didn't pivot, they didn't do what you did. And that's kind of one of the great things I think too about entrepreneur type businesses is just like you did. It's like, well, hey, let's just switch. Let's make a change. We're not tied into this. Our goal is to do this, and it's provide a service. And if that's where the service is, that's where we'll go. And I think that is so, so very smart that you guys took what are they saying? What's going on here? And you made the pivot and you listened and you didn't go, no, we only do this way. And you made a pivot. It paid off. Not only did it pay off by getting new customers, when the market shifted back, your old customers came back because it was an established relationship for you. And that is such a huge thing. But I do think, for anybody listening that's thinking about doing business, what you talked about from the financial backing is huge, because one of the biggest reasons businesses fail is financial. They don't find the financial backing, whether it's a second job or a third job or a spouse or somebody else that comes along and says, I want to put money behind this. Is so important because you can only run your business as far as your money will take you. If you can't get gas, you can't go get clothes. If you can't, if you can't buy you can't buy all the stuff that it takes to do what you do, you can't do business, no matter how many customers you have. So I think yes, that is so important. And one of the things that you've shared here is great. So kind of what are you looking at going into 23, knowing that we may be as a country facing another hurdle that could affect your business? Kind of tell our viewers kind of your thoughts about, hey, here's what we're thinking for 2023.
So for 2023, in the way that the country's going, but it's kind of a hard window to look through sometimes. But I would say to any business, don't give up, because Rockefeller and Carnegie and all the greatest entrepreneurs who have ever lived, they planted those seeds in the winter, and they just nurtured those seeds through the winter. And then when spring came, it's an explosion. And just don't give up. If you have to get another job is okay. If you have to do something else for a little while, that's okay. But just don't give up. Nurture your seeds. But for us specifically, we are going to look into app development to get an app for the Laundry Fairy, because something that I've recently learned just this year is how to be found, because it's not just your typical Google. It's kind of back up a little more of, where are you looking to find things? People are looking to Pinterest at what are people using for a search engine? That's what I'm trying to say. People are looking to YouTube and Pinterest and other social media, TikTok, all these social media platforms. So for us, we are looking into app development, because the app development places, well, the app stores are where people are looking for things. And then not only that, having an app on things that people literally keep next to them while they sleep. Your phone is with you all the time. So Robert Osborne taught me about omnipotent presence. So it's kind of one of those things. It keeps the laundry fairy at the forefront of wherever people are all the time. If I can be on your phone, you have omnipotent presence with people all the time. So that's what we're doing. App development.
And I think that's, marketing comes from all different kind of directions, and great idea from Robert on that concept and idea of, you not only do you have to provide something people want, and people want it to and pay for it, and it's something that they consider essential and they'll share it, but also, just like you just said, you've got to be where they communicate.
Yes.
And that's what you found out. And of course, the app gives you all the abilities, not only to be found, but to create scheduling, and you can push out notification, and you can communicate with them in a way that they want to be communicated with, because today with robocalls and all those kinds of things, there's so many things now that people don't even answer their phone. I know my wife's got her phone set to, if you're not in her contacts, it doesn't even ring. It just goes, to voicemail. Yeah. So it's like, I don't get those. I'm like, don't tell that. I'm in the marketing business too. Don't be telling that secret, And but it is so true that finding service that they want, providing a means for them to do it, and then finding a way to stay connected to them is so great. Because again, the app thing is one of those things where it's easily shareable. Hey, I hear you use this laundry service, people. How do I get that? Oh, here, get this app, and there you go. You're immediately on that thing that nobody leaves anywhere. They go back to get it if they do leave it, and so that kind of thing. So I think, you have an awesome story, Lila. It just is amazing. When somebody has a dream, they have a heart. You mentioned two great entrepreneurial people, and I think that shows what has to happen up here. A lot of people's heart has to get here, and they have to prepare themselves for things like you said. Don't give up. Don't give up. Well, how do you not give up? Well, you have to realize that there's people who've gone before you who just said, just keep planting seeds in the winter. Great analogy. There's going to be those times. There's going to be ups and downs in your business. There's going to be people you need to talk to. The idea that, you talk to somebody, the first customer tragedy, hey, they gave you a good word. You're working with, like Robert, you're listening to a coach and what he has to say and helping you get a mind frame. You're reading things that help build a mind frame. And then you've got the practical experience of learning to pivot. And that's so often what doesn't happen for a lot of business owners. You haven't left the idea. That's still there. That's still what makes the money, right? But the ability to make it happen, you have adopted, I think one of the main things that every business owner has to do, and that's adaptability. I'll pivot when I need to pivot to make my business work. It's not written on a stone, that I can't do anything else but this way. And I think that's so huge. Well, as we kind of wrap up here, Lila, what is something that you would share with our viewers, especially as business owners, or even about your business? Tell us, first of all, I need to back up and ask that same question. Where do people find you if they want to use your service? How do they get a hold of you?
Oh, so we're on most social media platforms, and you can find us on Google. And you can also contact us through via phone, text message, or through our website. And our phone number is 936-436-2726. And our website is thelaundryfairy.biz, THELAUNDRYFAIRY.BIZ.
That's great. Yeah. And again, I would encourage you, if that is any of interest at all to you as a service, reach out to them. It's obvious, they've got it nailed down. It's a good service for people, like you mentioned, different industries that need that kind of service, because it's something that they spend other time, quality time, doing that stuff when they could take care of it this way using you guys. And then, of course, there may be some people out there that just want to bend your ear a little bit about your business idea and how you got there. And I think that that's something that you certainly have the opportunity to share with. Wow, what a great show today. I appreciate our guests, each and every one of them, as they come on and are part of the Business Network podcast. You too perhaps might be a business owner and you'd like to feature your business and tell your story, and we'd love to have you as a guest. You can go to the businessnetworkpodcast.com, and you can see the link here on the screen, and just fill out an application. It's not an obligation to be on the show, but we want to start the process with you to be able to say, hey, let's talk about your business and see how this podcast could be a great fit for you, and for you to get the assets that go along with this show to be able to promote your business in a lot of different places. So, hey, thanks again. We look forward to you being with us again on the Business Network podcast. Talk to you soon.